Hi, hello, and welcome to Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Gorgeous. I will be your oracle today. It's a delight and honor to serve you. Thank you for allowing me the privilege and the pleasure to do so. It is Saturday, and we're going to record the Soul Purpose Saturday weekly inspirational sermon today. What I'll do here right now with you is brief you on the energies and I'll continue over in the temple with the sermon and the extended briefing on that. It's really going to be a report, okay? So let me pull a major arcana. We're going to do a little bit different this week. Every time I try to tap into the guidance for the week, it's overly intense. I don't have compassion there. And you know, my rule in general is if you can't be nice, be kind. I'm already a little bit scary in general, you know. And when I tried to record on Thursday, it was just I started screaming. When I tried to record on Friday, I started screaming. I'm going to just do one singular card here, okay? And then check the link in the show notes, whether it's in the temple or just on a private video on YouTube. We'll continue there, all right? So we have the Lovers card. That's the soul group. Now, a lot of people think this is about lovers, you know. Some people say head-to-heart decisions. Some people say, you know, soulmates, you know, life partners, all that fun stuff. Now, with this card in specific, it's talking about dividing separateness, and it is talking about the descent of the soul here in the physical and coming to the place where one might begin to become elevated. Carnal knowledge, that in which you receive through life. Now, carnal knowledge is that red, yeah, it may be sex, indeed it is. But it also means knowledge that you get when you come into the physical. You know, and sometimes 1 plus 1 is not 2. Sometimes it's more. Now, this is a deeply, deeply, deeply mysterious card. People just don't realize. Because this, for me, is the archetype of Orion or Gemini. And then we also have the energy of the sacred union of divine opposites, or divine union of sacred opposites, really. Now, that could be Mars and Venus, or it could be Moon and Sun, okay? Not all of them. If you have Sun energy, then you would be looking for Moon. If you have Venus energy, then you would be looking for Mars. So that's this here. Now, concept and idea of that is that 1 plus 1 equals 3. 1 plus 1 equals 300. So, you know, I'm going to just paint a little picture. So, everybody inherently is the magician. Everybody inherently is the high priestess. Now, believe it or not, male or female, you can be the empress, you can be the emperor, the imperatore. So what does that mean? Well, the empress is about, once you find knowledge of the self and the magician, and you come into communion with the spirit, with the soul group, with really the higher self, the higher divinities, as above, so below, magician, from within, so without, high priestess. Then you have the nurturing into the physical. Okay, that's the Empress. So it's your values, your sense of self-worth, and value. Then you have your system, structures, foundations. What is that? Means, mechanisms, methodologies that you find in the magician. And when you are able to use those means, mechanisms, and methodologies and align with your self-worth and value, have something to stand for so you don't fall for anything, you can build system, structures, foundations to leverage your means, mechanisms, and methodologies, to utilize your spiritual technologies in this world. Because like the emperor and the empress being the male and the female archetype, not so much actual men or females, the magician and the high priestess, they really rule knowledge of the self. knowledge of the world, knowledge of the soul in the world, consciousness, vision, insight. Okay. Now, when you move from the high priestess into the empress, it's just like the magician and the high priestess, male and female, but those are spiritual. Emperor and empress is physical. So you have the soul, magician, and high priestess. Then you have the body, okay, emperor and empress. And then it goes into the spirit, which would be the strength card and the hermit card. So knowledge of the self, magician, knowledge of oneself and others, knowledge of the soul, high priestess, self-worth and value, empress, autonomy, franchise, and control over oneself, emperor, spiritual beliefs, philosophies, foundations, role in society, hierophant. Then you have your role in the soul group, Lover's card. So yes, it is about love and soulmates and all that stuff, but it's the soul group. It's the collective. Do you understand? Now, sometimes this rules ancestors. It can rule younger siblings. Okay. It could also mean like something that is dynamic in your place in it. And you might be that middle figure, which is really the arc energy. It can mean an archangel. Can mean a cumulative or collective energy. Okay. You know what I mean? So say you get together at a family reunion, all of the family together would be that central figure. For instance, this can mean anything. This could mean a website even, the Lover's card. Something that is the accumulation of everything there combined. This could mean a gathering, a party as well. But it's a gathering, a party of souls, much so than it is the actual people there. And people and souls are different because people are vessels for the soul. Do you understand? And this may be too much for you right now. You may not be able to place this. Okay. So the soul group. Okay, well, that was a mic drop. The soul group is really what I want to talk about in our place there in said soul group. So we're going to go ahead and continue this in the temple. I'll elaborate just a little tiny bit more, So we have the Six of Wands and the Six of Cups. So 666, I do want to say the shadow of the Lover's card is the Devil. But it would seem in the recent past, our soul descended and we're looking to get our needs met here in the physical. And we do that through the soul group. We come into knowledge of ourselves, sometimes through others. You know, sometimes people need to repress and suppress their own lives, and then they project things onto us. And it's fascinating because people don't see the world as it is. People see the world as they is. And that's a hard lesson to learn. You know, sometimes you're in conflict with a person and they're going off and popping off at the mouth telling you everything that they think that you are. And, you know, you may not think these things are true, what people are saying to you about you or however, you know, that works out. But it's true for them. And so sometimes we need to use other people's experiences, other people's energy, other people's technologies, other people's technique, other people's skills, really, to move us further to union. Because that's what this Lover's card is. It's union in some way. So, you know, before we go into the actual sermon, ask yourself, you know, how is it that you're unifying? In what ways, means, methodologies, mechanisms? All the steps before 6. So we have the Fool, which is both the beginning and the ending. The Alpha and the Omega is the Fool. And then you have the Magician, the High Priestess, you know, the Empress, the Emperor, and then you have the Hierophant, and then you have the Lovers. So all of those steps up until then, how do you get there? You know, how did you find knowledge of the self? What is alive in you? You know, what are your values? what does your self-worth look like? How do you remain on your throne, meaning keeping your sovereignty intact? What is it that you do to have franchise autonomy and control over your life? How do you remain in a solid, stable foundation? What are the systems, the structures, the technology that goes into keeping you in that foundation? And what are your beliefs in society? How were you conditioned and programmed into aligning with other souls here in this world? The question might be like, well, I often do the heavy duty listing, and again, I'm trying to keep away from that because I could get nasty real quick, and get nasty is for the muggles, the mundane folks who really don't understand how spirituality works. Not that there's any set technology or sentence for how technology works, but what it isn't is looking outside yourself for answers. What it isn't is reading a book and saying that this is how the world should go, this is how the world should be, this is how I'm going to connect to my higher self. That's what it is not. So, normally I would say, at what age did you lose your compassion? When did the story, the lie that they told you get believed? At what age did you choose to buy that BS? I would go there. And I'm not gonna. We're gonna keep it on a lighter note. All right. So peace be with you. Take good care of yourself. The link should be in the show notes. There's still a flash sale going on at priestessgorgeous.org. We're still working on the website, making big, overcoming hurdles. Yada, 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 yada. I had a card out there and I totally lost it, but it's okay. So peace be with you. Take good care. Link is in the show notes. Until we meet again, until we read again, namaste, dandavat, and ashe. Peace be with you. See you soon. Bye-bye.